All right, it's Friday night and we're nerds. We're live with Champ Chat. This is the 2018 Canadian Nationals Champion Edition. I am joined by the champ himself, Mr. PJ Bolin.
Hey.
And before we get started with PJ, I just want to remind everybody we've got a new show that we're kind of testing out right now called Move and Attack. And what that is we're from the road. We get bored on our road trips to HeroClix tournaments. And we decided one day to answer one guy's like multitude of questions that he's asked us over months. And it ended up actually being a lot of fun. So we've actually set up a Google form that we've shared on our both our Facebook and our Facebook community group. If you want to get a check out on that, I'm going to try to throw a link in it in the description later on. And yeah, that's kind of our new thing. But enough about our channel stuff. It's time to talk to the champion, Mr. PJ Bolin. And whenever we get a new champion, somebody who hasn't been on the show before, which is shocking with you, sir. You have won quite a bit. We do have to ask, where do you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from, Cotton Eye Joe? Give us the history of PJ Bolin in HeroClix. When did you start, and what got you into competitive play?
I learned the game way back in the beginning when it was new, because I played Mage Knight, played Mech Warrior. Clix came out, tried it out. It was cool, but Mage Knight was definitely the better game. Who'd have thought? Quit for many, many, many years. Got back in around, I don't know, I remember buying a booster of Web of Spider-Man and pulled a Nightcrawler. That was a good day.
That's a great day.
Yeah. Played for a little, like maybe 6 months, and then quit again until, what is it, No Man's Land? The Batcave? Is that No Man's Land? Yeah, till that was over. So I got into the competitive scene after the Book of the Skull rotated. Like shortly after. So never had to experience that. I got into competitive play just because I had friends that wanted to travel, and I was like, yeah, why not? It's not that far. And yeah, once I got the craving and kept going back. Now I go everywhere.
Literally, you're starting to cross borders now.
Yeah.
That said, do you come from another tabletop gaming background? Is HeroClix your only tabletop game, or do you come from other collectible games?
I've played a lot of games on a competitive level. I've played some Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, a bunch of different things on a competitive level. I've never been as good at anything as I am here. Like in Yu-Gi-Oh, I won a regional. That was the extent of that. And then in Pokemon, I made Top Cut once. So I played the Force of Will card game competitively for a while. Had one big heartbreaking event where I played 14 rounds of Swiss to cut top 8. Went 13-1 and missed Top Cut.
Oh, that's gross.
Yeah, it was or I was 12-1-1. Sorry.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And missed Top Cut by I was 9th, and like nope, I'm done, and haven't played it since. Tabletop wise, I haven't played anything like that I've actually went to a tournament for, other than local.
Awesome. So give us a bit of a career highlight from your competitive play. Some people are a little more unfamiliar with you, and want to know, your name has started to show up a lot all of a sudden. I think it was last year, and a lot of it was your popularity of your Ultron team. A lot of people were just in love with it and couldn't build it. But what other career highlights do you have that other people might not be aware of?
So obviously I've actually lost count of the number of like WKOs and super Qs and stuff that I've won. But like early on, like I made a couple top 16s, couple top 8s. My first crowning accomplishment was making top 8 of 2016 Nationals and losing because I'm an idiot to Scott Crampton because I don't understand how zombie team base worked. Like I beat him in Swiss, and then I didn't know how the zombie miasma power worked. I thought it was just mystics that you had to roll for, not within 3 or whatever. So like I was running around the whole time, and I could have been hitting him the entire time for like 9 and 5. But yeah, whatever. So got my first ever win was with my Ultron team that I played there, and then I won another event like 2 weeks later with it, and that's when I was like, okay, yeah, I think I might be able to do something in this game.
So, at any point, was there a doubt that maybe competitive play in this game wasn't really for you? I mean, you kind of made it sound like that.
No, not really. Like when I go and play a game competitively, I expect the track record to follow all the games I've played previously, where I just have fun, but I'm not actually that good. And Clicks was following that. Like, I was having a great time. I love the people. Like, I was making friends. And like the first time I ever played against Easton Brock, I didn't get to make an attack roll. I was like, wow, I suck. And like, just I got controlled the entire time. And that's also the game that made me decide I didn't want to suck anymore. I was like, I will get better at this. I will make an attack roll against Easton one day.
Easton, this is your fault then. There it is. So on that, it's time to take us through the journey that got you to Canadian Nationals. Obviously, we've talked about your long-term journey, but the short term is more where we're going. What was the practice like leading up to Canadian Nationals? What made you decide on the team that you had? And yeah, just give us those deets, as it were, and even just take us through the tournament itself.
Sure. All right. So I'll start with the build. I played Blackbird at 55 with the resource style at 5. Then 2 Wolverines, 2 Moiras, a Cyclops, a Thug, a Pim Tank, a Boxing Ring, and then 8 ID cards. It was Professor X, Cyclops, Faculty, Wolverine, and then the students that were all free were Cyclops, Jean Grey, Rusty, Leech, Jubilee. Practice-wise with it, well, first, the theory crafting for it started at Nationals, U.S. Nationals. Obviously, we just got our hands on the Blackbirds, and like me, Lucas Van Holland, and then Adam Friedman, we were all sitting kind of chit-chatting about what the ideal build would be, and got in the right direction. And then I get super bored at work, so I started hashing out everything I wanted to do. Like the turn 1 Leech play wasn't part of it initially, and I was like, well, that's way too good to not get a turn 1 Real Boy Leech for the Unimind matchups. Then I played a handful of games with it and liked it. Then I went to 2 WKOs and piloted at both of them. The first one I went undefeated in Swiss, lost in top 8 to Shredders and some really unfavorable dice rolls. Like my first 3 turns were perfect. I killed an object so he couldn't make over or make charged up. Then I killed his overdrive. Then I killed his peace machine, and then I missed every attack from there.
Oh.
It's part of the game. But
yep.
Then I go to the next WKO, and then I didn't lose at all in that until the finals with Dan. Like I beat him in Swiss, lost to him in the finals. So I felt
Daniel Powell, right?
Yeah. With his Unimind team, and like I feel like the Unimind matchup is really good. It's just a matter of like if I get the Leech or not. Like only a 15% chance of failing. So I just like after that, I was debating on some ID changes, like cutting Chase Jean Grey for like uncommon Iceman, because he's randomly really good against Shredders. Like just say, immobilize one of them, and I don't know. I ended up not doing it, obviously. So yeah. Ended up playing the exact same 28 game elements that I was using at the WKOs. I ended up playing it in one of the constructed qualifiers and went undefeated to get some store credit.
Hey.
I completely forgot to use before I left.
Oh.
Yeah. So I'll have $40 next time I go. Yeah. Yeah. So the week leading up to Canadian Nationals, my wife and I actually went on vacation to Vegas and had a great trip. We left like that Monday, and then instead of flying home, what made this trip super affordable for me was we were already gone. So instead of flying home, I flew to Ottawa. So I'm really only paying for one leg of the flight.
Yeah.
And landed in Ottawa, took an Uber to my hotel room, found out Uber was illegal in Quebec, which is super awkward.
Yeah, because we're actually like, and to just give people a quick idea, where the hotel was walking distance from a bridge that got you from Quebec to Ottawa, which is actually the difference between the provinces. And that line, that bridge, is where Uber doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, like he dropped me off, and I jokingly said, well, maybe you can pick up another fare and head back toward the airport. He said he lived over that way. He's like, nope, not until I cross the river. I'm like, that's kind of weird. So I got in the night before the qualifiers, played in the first sealed qualifier, pulled horribly. Like my rares were Captain America and Star Fox. My colossals were Shield Car and Devil Dinosaur Moon Girl.
Oh.
And ended up playing 3 commons and an uncommon and being 9th when they were qualifying 9 people.
Oh, come on.
I snuck in on the qualification in the first try. Yeah. So I was pretty content with that. I played in the other qualifier stuff the day because I was there all day. Might as well do something. But so the main event itself, round 1, I play against former Rock World Champion Ed A.B. Arnold Berkovitz, the Boy Wonder's dad. I'm just sitting there like I have to play against somebody who's really good in the first round. This is going to be a start of the day. And
if you look at it in hindsight, there wasn't anybody who wasn't good on day 2.
I agree. Like everyone was good. It's just like I could have just not played against a former champ. Like, you know, I can take something good, but not. So like I was kind of high strung going in round 1, and I don't know why. Normally I'm not very butterfly-y, I guess.
You don't get the butterflies.
Yeah, but I had some jitters going into that one. But Ed's a nice guy, so they went away pretty quick. And I moved up. He threw a tank on my team, and then I shot his Deadpool for 6 with 6 squares of knockback and killed it. So that was a good trade. Then we went super back and forth. I don't remember a whole lot of details about that game because I played against so many X-Men teams. They just all blurred together. And then I know I won like 385 to 292. Like Jeez. There was not a whole lot of stuff left alive. Then round 2, I play against Bradley Wilson from Team Pusheen, and who's playing the exact same team as Ed. Oh, I should say he was playing Lila, Deadpool, 2 Wolverines, a Cyclops, and like a tank.
Yep.
They were playing, every single game element was the same, all the same IDs, and they're not teammates. Like, I don't even think they talk. And same exact build.
There's some math to that.
Yep. And the game played the exact same. Like, I got tanked. I killed a Deadpool. Traded some pieces, and I won. And another close one, not quite as high as scoring. No, I don't think any call-ins got killed, but it was definitely a close one. Round 3, I played my first Canadian. It was Tom. So
beautiful voice and lovely dulcet tones of Tom Kerr.
It's really hard not to just get lost in his voice when you're playing it. Like, yeah, can you just tell me what you were doing again?
No, say it slower.
Slower. And he was playing Mr. Steph, Lockjaw, Charlie X, Root Sturder, Mjolnir, Asgardian Shield. I went first, or I picked map, went to Genosha, go first, get the turn 1 leech. So I call in Rusty, spin up my resource, then power action to make a leech so I can keep his Lockjaw off a TK for his initial turn. Because the way he was set up, Mangog wasn't going to be able to reach to go get the Mjolnir. So I do that. I move a Wolverine up like 6 or 7 squares by himself with a triple perplex defense. And then pass. He goes to pick powers of Lockjaw. I shut off TK. He was like, oh, yeah, that's a thing. So he just moves Mr. Steph on top of Mjolnir. And I'm like, okay. I guess I have to kill the retaliators first, and then I'll figure out how to deal with Mr. Seth, who's equipped. So I call in Brood-X, move the bird up, put 5 perplexes into him. I go 14 attack, 5 damage, triple target, Mistress Death, Surtur Groot, and then I roll the doubles. So I assign the 1 to each of the Colossals and put 3 on Mistress Death, knocking her 3 squares off of Mjolnir. And it could not have been any luckier. Like, oh, it was just I couldn't have been happier with how that played out, because like I saw a better play that I could have done, because like I could have real girled in a Jean Grey and then just ran up and free TK'd Mjolnir just to break it. But yeah, this worked out much better because I knew I was going to roll doubles, clearly.
Yeah, you definitely planned for that.
Yeah, and I didn't even realize it was an option, like of how good it was. Like, you know, because sometimes you'll prob in to get particular rolls. But no, I just rolled the double 4s, and I was like, man, that's just really good for me. And Tom's just like, yep. So his next turn, he tanks me, and then
how polite.
Yeah, how nice of him.
I apologize for squeaking a dad joke in there. I may have broken the champ.
Oh, got me. So much. Whew. So yeah. Damn, Jason.
This is the problem when the champ is a former co-host from your show. You get a little too comfortable with them.
All right. I'm good. So he throws the tank at me, and then I call in the Jean Grey from the resource. Power action TK the Asgardian field at the tank to deal 1. Then I free action TK Mjolnir at his tank to kill both of his objects and his tank in 1 turn. So impressive. Yeah, from that felt really good, and I was like, man, that's just the right thing to do. And then from there, I had all the tempo. Mistress Death isn't a threat when she can't punch anything. Mm-hmm. I kept her. I didn't attack her at all once she was passed onto her like 1 damage outwit clicks, until I just didn't want her to have outwit anymore. So then I ended up killing her 2 times before I ended. I ended up getting like 500 and some odd points.
Oof.
Yeah, that was a good one. And you know, Tom's always awesome to play against. And,
yeah,
like it's always a ton of fun. But so next round I play against Devin, and he's playing the Cosmic Theme, Chase Moondragon, Unseen, Groot, Mangog, Lockjaw. I feel like I'm missing something. I thought he was a +6, but he might just be +5. I don't know.
That's here for Wonder Woman?
8? No, I don't think so. I don't know.
I'll have to ask him sometime.
Yeah. So he actually won map and put me on Underground. So that was kind of depressing because I'm a +7. I'm not used to losing map. And we go to Underground. He uses Mangog to equip Mjolnir onto Moondragon. I use my full map reach to kill Mangog. Then he ends up burning his Jean Grey call in just to TK Moondragon into position to flurry. I didn't see. And then he kills my Blackbird. So he has a couple Walking Woods up by me, and then my Cyclops pops out with +2 combat values. I'm like, okay, I can double tap Moondragon. I need 1 more hit on it. I'm sitting there looking, can't see the extra hit. So I'm like, all right, I'll call in Jubilee, deal with the Walking Woods. Call in Jubilee, shape changes 1, I kill the other. Cool. Then I see the 3rd attack that I could have got on Moondragon after I had already done other stuff. Because where my Cyclops was shooting, he was opening a hole in the wall, and I could have ran my other Cyclops into the hole and got 2 more attacks to try to kill it. So after that, I was just like, well. So he retaliates with Groot, kills my Cyclops, drops a Walking Wood that flurries, hits both attacks to kill my Wolverine. That was just a bad turn for me. And just took a 100-point swing there. He ends up just keeps controlling the tempo of the game. It comes down to where I have a Royal Hatchling, a Wolverine, and my Thug left. So I'm creeping around. Like he's whiffed like 2 support rolls on Moondragon with Lockjaw. So I'm like, all right, I'm still not out of it. Like I'd have to charge flurry, roll doubles. Like a lot has to go right to be able to win. But I see he leaves unseen kind of in a spot where I can get to him. So I call in Wolverine, charge flurry, hit the first attack. He misses senses. I roll blades, roll a 2. Okay, whatever. I was only rolling blades to see if I could one-shot him. So no matter what, I kill him in 2 hits if I hit him both times anyway.
Yeah.
Second attack hits. He rolls the senses. All right, 50-50 shot. He got one of them. So I'm like, you know what? The thug's right there, range and line of fire. Why not take a shot? Roll the crit hit. So it does 3 damage, and he can't roll senses, and it kills unseen. So that thug has earned a nickname. He is Thug, Slayer of the Unseen. And of that whole game, after that happened, like I was kind of tilted because I made a mistake. After that happened, it all went away. Like I could not have been in a better mood after that. I'm like, yes, that's all that matters. And then he won. Like he killed me on the next turn. He put me down. He killed my Wolverine. I was like, yep, okay, you win. Don't care now. Killed unseen with a thug. So the math said if you were 3 and 2, you didn't make cut unless you had a bajillion points and got lucky.
That was A.
Yeah, and even going into it, Isaac was 2 and 2 going into the last round with like 2,000 points.
Mm-hmm.
So like I could have won, I could have lost, and scored 500 points and still not beat him out.
Yeah.
So I knew I had to win no matter what. And I played against Jason Osorio. I don't know if I'm butchering his last name or not. Yep. He was playing full point Blackbird with like Wolverine, Moira, 2X students, the ones that have plasticity poison on one of their clicks.
Okay.
And mind control super senses on the other one, because that's where I put them, were those 2 clicks. So I go first. I real boy Leech turn 1 because I want to keep his Blackbird off of Perplex. But then he pilots it with the mind control super senses X student. And I'm like, you literally can't pick a power with that. So I wasted all of that turn 1 to do nothing. Like, felt really bad. Like, I'm like, I guess it's okay that he can't use any powers, but it makes, if I'd have known he was going to do that, I would have played my whole turn different. So the game was fairly close. Like he popped my bird, and I killed his Wolverine, or I think he might have had 2. I killed them both early. So, like, I could just out-action his Blackbird because of how many points it was.
Yeah.
And it came down to, like, I had both of my Wolverines and both of my Moiras, and all I had left was the bird. And I just had to kill it before time ran out. And I did. So, I got the win there. Felt really good going into Top Cut. I was the 2 seed. So I knew if I was going to have to play Devin again, it wasn't going to be till the finals. And so in top 8, I played against Matt Esbrook playing Unimind, Lockjaw, Skyscraper Wonder Woman, Flora, Pim Tank, a couple ID cards. He wins map, which is depressing because I feel like 90% of the time, if I win map, I can't lose that matchup. Like, I have a 90-10 chance to win because I just get the Leech turn 1. Well, he wins map, gets the symbiote equipped, picks TK with Lockjaw, equips symbiote, picks stealth. And I'm sitting there trying to think of how to win. I get the real boy Leech just because it makes sense to have. And I just pass because he can't get to me. He goes to pick powers. I say no hypersonic because the map he put us on was the Promenade with all that elevation change. So he can't use Uni's 10 range. And he ends up just kind of sidestepping around and clearing. And then I'm like, well, I guess I'll play the Unimind game. And I just called in a Cyclops and took a 15-3 lead by killing Wonder Woman. It's like, I'll make him commit and come over to me. I told him, I was like, I will sit on my side of the map for the rest of time. And agree, I am fine with that. And so what ends up happening is he just moves Unimind over right into my team. Just brings him in, picks super senses, so he has shape change super senses, moves him in. Keeps power cosmic. I pump 4 actions into attacking him, and I dealt 2 damage. So wasn't ideal. He goes to pick powers with Uni. I say hypersonic because I don't want him to be right there, hypersonic, kill something, and run. So he takes sidesteps up to a different elevation, and like he starts counting out squares from Lockjaw. And I forgot he had the Harley Quinn, Tidal Harley call in. So he was going to dual target my Wolverines, put them both to their stop clicks with Unimind, call in Harley, running shot, energy explosion, kill both of my Wolverines. And I'm like, well, if he does that, I probably just lose. So I shut off Prob with when he goes to pick with Lockjaw. The best I can do is hope, just hope.
Yeah.
He does the sidestep with Uni, drops Power Cosmic, goes +2 attack, +2 damage, takes a second action token, attacks both of my Wolverines, and rolls a crit miss. And I'm just like, oh no. And from there, it was a Unimind with counterable powers standing in front of my whole team.
Oh, man.
Yeah. He ended up calling in Cyclops with Lockjaw that turn and whiffed the attack to try to pop my bird and just missed the 6 or 7. And like he wasn't so upset about that one. He was more upset about the missing on the Wolverines. And then I popped his Uni that turn. I have learned the best way to play against that is I killed his Makari, killed his Cersei, and then I ran. Like, people always want to kill Thanos because he's a billion points, but you don't need to.
Yeah.
And when you do, Lockjaw gets +1 combat values and willpower, and that's bad.
That's a tough puppy.
Yeah, that's bad. So I'm just like, I'll ignore him. And like I knew what the points were, so I knew he had to kill my whole force. I ran a leech to one corner of the map. I ran one Wolverine to one corner of the map. Ran a Moira to the other corner, and my second Wolverine was just fighting Lockjaw. Just whatever. I don't care if you die. Just need to waste time. Time got called and I won. So I felt really good about that because I didn't think that was a winnable game for me. And then the crit miss, and it's awesome.
That's a moment.
Yeah. Top 4, I played against the last Canadian. I was right, because the other top 4 game was Ed against Kenji, and then it was me against Patricia. So I was either going to put a Canadian in the finals or dash the dreams of an entire country.
Well, considering where you ended up, we kind of know how that ends.
Right. So I go first, and I just pilot and pass. She moves up. I throw a tank at her team. Spread them all out. She kills the tank and then like misses the attack on anything that's main force. Then I kill her Deadpool. Just shot him for 5 with a call in Cyclops. Again, this is an X-Men game. It all kind of blurs in the middle. I know she missed a lot, like a lot.
Yeah.
And it ended up coming down to I had most of my force left, and she just had a Darwin, and it took me like 4 turns to kill Darwin. So, like, unfortunately, that game wasn't very close. Like, I love close games. That's why I play the game. And like dice were just not working out for her. And like we're talking like she was needing 6s and stuff and missing. So that puts me into the finals against Kenji. I was glad that Kenji beat Ed because I have some surprise factors with the build, and I'd already played against Ed, so I lose a lot of that surprise.
Yeah.
So I win map against Kenji, and we go to a muck time because that's the only map like I ever pick. And I pilot and pass, and I don't know if either he didn't know that I had a full map reach or knew that his like retaliation, his crackback, whatever you want to call it, was better than anything I could do. But either way, I full map running shotted with Cyclops, dropped the tank on his unperplexed Moira to hit the rest of his team, spreading everything out. His next turn, he kills my Blackbird. And then I kill, on my turn, the Cyclops kills his Deadpool, kills his Cyclops call-in with the free attack. Then for some reason, I decide I call in Brood-X. Not before I kill stuff, after. Like, it was the right play to call him in. It's just I mistimed it. So that was a little frustrating. I should have had one hatchling Pog, which could have became relevant later. And then I go 1 perplex to attack, 1 perplex to range on Brood-Eggs. That's all I had left from other perplexes for the turn. And I double target his Wolverine and Cyclops. I had to double target because he has Mastermind on Cyclops on that click. And I needed Cyclops to die. So he had perplex defense on him, so he was a 19 because he was in Hindry. 18 on Wolverine. So 12 on 18 and 19. Roll the attack, miss. First theme prob, miss. Second theme prob, hit. Key theme probs. All right, miss. Third prob, miss. Fourth prob, miss. I've missed 5 chances at a 7 to just completely control the game. Like, pretty sure I can't lose if I kill the Cyclops and put Wolverine to stop. Should just be over. And instead, it just doesn't do anything. He ends up moving a Wolverine back to his Lila, phasing over in toward my team, and then free attacking to kill my Cyclops. I don't know if you forgot I had shape change, but I missed it anyway. And then, so I traded a Wolverine for my Cyclops though, because he killed Cyclops. I charged, killed this Wolverine. We trade a bunch back and forth. It comes down to he has Lila, Wolverine, Moira. I have Moira, Wolverine, Thug. And we forget that I killed his Cyclops call-in. So when we count points, he had the lead. So I start playing super aggressive. And like we never even realized I killed his Cyclops. Like I didn't realize it until I was on the way home. And I was like, wait, I definitely killed him that turn. Anyway, he ends up moving back to the corner. I'm able to keep up on approach. I call in my Wolverine, charge, flurry, his Lila, miss both attacks. And I'm just like, The Wolverine that he has left is the one that's on click 2 from where it got tanked. And he goes to attack my Wolverine that's right there and crit misses. So it goes to a stop click. So he's like, well, crap. And I'm like, holy shit, I'm in this game. Oh, language, sorry.
That's right.
But yeah. Realized I'm in this game. Like I thought I was going to lose. I thought there was just nothing I was going to be able to do about it. I was back in. So he phases carrying. We forget that Wolverine has Battle Fury on that click. He moves into the boxing ring. I hurry up and move up both Moiras. I outwit sidestep on Wolverine. I outwit leadership on Wolverine, so Lila can't do anything. I sidestep my Wolverine up and pass. Like I do this all in like 20 seconds. Judge stops us. Hey, Wolverine had Battle Fury. You can't carry. I'm like, we're not rewinding. It's fine. And they're like, well, it's easily going back to. I'm like, I don't know what squares my Moira were in. I don't want to waste time. It's fine. Like, it's not that big a deal. I could have done the same thing over there that I can do over here. There's no point in winding all this back for no effect in the game state. He ends up calling in Rusty with Wolverine, going to 2 tokens. Kills one of my Moiras to get his sidestep back. Sidesteps out of the ring, but still adjacent to Lila. So in like a little V, you have Rusty, Lila, Wolverine all touching. I call in Jubilee, double perplex attack, running shot, target Lila. So after the perplexes and the ring penalty ends up being a 10 on numbers, I roll the 9, which would kill Lila and Rusty and put Wolverine to stop. He uses his last theme prob, and I roll the 9 again. So back-to-back 9s puts him down to just Wolverine on his stop. He's double tokened. He just clears because I outwitted a sidestep that turn as well. I go charge with perplex attack charge, 12 on a 17, miss. I'm out of theme probs, and he's like, all right, regen. And so he regens, he rolls the 5 or 6, so he gets the back to top click. My Wolverine's double tokened. So on my next turn, I move Moira adjacent to him just because I want to have a second attack on him to try to pop him if I can. You know, it's not going to be good numbers, but I might as well try. And I clear my Wolvie. Well, he goes to 2 tokens and punches my Moira. And I'm like, oh. So my Wolverine goes 10 on a 17 hit. Then I go free attack because you damaged an X-Men. And you saw him go and hit. And all that I had left was a Wolverine and a Thug that I had forgot about. Like from how far I was leaning over the table and trying to hurry,
Yeah.
I didn't even I couldn't even see the thug. He wasn't in my line of sight. So yeah, it like the first thing we said to each other, why couldn't this game have been streamed? Like this is what people see. Like it wasn't like it was two people just like, well, I'm gonna phase over here and do nothing. All right, 10-5, good game. So it was intense. Whew.
All right. Well, it sounded like a roller coaster on that last game there, and it's always good to hear when the final is just an absolute bloodbath, and you have to look back and go, "All right, wait, who won?" But that said, it's always good to step back and ask. So, what do you think of the current competitive environment, the general metagame of the competitive circuit right now?
I think it's really, really good and healthy. Top 4 Canadian Nationals was 4 X-Men teams, but don't let that dictate what the meta is. X-Men is very beatable. It's not top. I mean, it is top tier. It is a tier 1 team, but it's not the only tier 1 team. Like I think right now there's probably 8 to 10 incredibly viable archetypes, and that's unheard of in gaming.
Yeah. The
fact that I'm not going to say you can play whatever you want and do well, but there are a ton of things you can play and do well.
Yeah. I think on the show we worked it out to there's a limited number of figures, but there's a million combinations with all those figures that you can play.
Yeah.
So on that, it's time to move into our fan questions. But if there's anything else you kind of want to add to the story or add to what we've been saying, now's a great time to do so. Your thank yous and everything like that.
Oh, I do want to say thanks to Jay and the judging staff for doing a great job. I don't remember the other judges' names, unfortunately. And the fact that they picked me and Jay up from the hotel room every day. So that was nice, considering, again, Uber is illegal. And that was my planned method of transportation. And thanks to Carta Magica for hosting and the store owner giving me a ride back to the hotel after the main event. And then also to Ed AB for picking me up at my hotel room and taking me to the airport at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, what a nice guy.
So, yeah. I mean, Scott and Matt had flights that morning too, but he did drive out of his way to pick me up and didn't ask for anything in return. Oh, and he made the trophies. The trophy that.
Oh, yeah. The Golden Hulks.
Yeah. Man, I wish it was closer. I'd go grab it. Yeah, it's so yeah, big thanks to everybody. It was great. I had a great time. Like everybody was awesome.
All right, good to hear. All right, so the first question comes from, let's see, let's do this in semi-chronological order. We're going to start with Luke. Oh, no, Lucas doesn't have a question. He just declares a new king in the north. I still, to this day, or till Sunday, I was like, no, Adam Cole could still show up because he's a sneak like that. He spent the entire time last year at Canadian Nationals asking if he could play Doomsday so that he could play the boxing ring.
He texted Jay that morning, and he's like, "Hey, do you see that gray car outside? Don't worry, that's not me." Like, ooh, it could be though.
Don't believe him. I never believe a word he says. All right. So Matt Thomas, PJ leads with PJ. Congrats. What separates your winning team from the rest of the metagame besides superb piloting? Do you foresee any major changes needed with the addition of the latest Batman set?
First, thank you. And separates it from the rest of the meta. That's tough. I don't want to say it's like the best team. It's just the team that I feel like has the most good matchups. And that's usually what you want in a team. Like, you can afford to have a bad matchup or two as long as you have good enough matchups across the rest of the field. Now, it's when you're sitting down with a team that has no good matchups that you should probably reconsider what you're even looking at. But I think it just had the most diversity across the field. Even my bad matchups were still like 60-40 their favor. So, like, very, very winnable games. So I don't know if that's what separates it, because I think there are many other teams that can say that too. That's just the only reason I picked it, really. is matchups.
Mhm.
And then major changes, definitely not anything major. Maybe subtle changes that I'm still up in the air on if I even play this. I mean, I'm playing it tomorrow, but I don't know if I'll play it much after that because I just don't like the recycle teams.
That's fair.
I could see somebody like dropping the Pim tank, add 2 suited henchmen, and cut the boxing ring for a 9th ID card. If you wanted to have 9 IDs.
Quick question on that one I want to add on. Do you have room for a sideline character?
If you cut the tank, yes. That is yeah. As the build is right now, no chases.
Yeah,
No
okay.
Batman chases.
Always worth mentioning that because if you got the room, put them in.
Yes, no matter what. No excuses. If you own the chases and you have sideline space, they're on your sideline.
They're there. All right. The next one comes from Andrew Fairweather, and it looks like he got clarification on it. But he wants to know, what was the worst team you've played against ever? And he kind of clarified. He wants to know both hardest and just the worst thing.
The hardest would be the team I mentioned earlier where Easton never let me attack. It was like Coriander with a Phidian and like an orange battery, and I don't even remember the rest of it. He won like a couple Super Qs and regionals with it.
Yeah, I remember talking about that team a lot and mentioning Easton's name beside it.
It was so oppressive. Like, and there was no Faust on it. And like, I just couldn't do anything. Like, I was playing Silver Centurion Yellow Battery, and he's like, no running shot. Then he hits me, and he's like, no hypersonic. And it's like, what? I can't. Okay, good job. The one I got to attack with my torpedo, and he shape changed it. So at no point in that game did I have to hold 2d6 in my hand. So that would be the hardest. And then actually just worst, I don't know. I've played against a lot of really bad teams.
Yeah, you generally don't want to call people out for that.
Right. I have also fielded a lot of really bad teams.
Yeah, so you're responsible for trying the Punisher van and actually finding out that it's just bad.
Yeah, I top 8'd. But that's just because Shifting Focus Deadpool with a Brainiac was really good before the equip change. Okay. It's the only reason I did well. The worst team I have ever played, I will bring up, because I tried to play Haha Joker as a tent pole. Played him with Proteus, a full Rock of Eternity. Like, I built around Haha Joker. I wanted to try it, and it was so bad. I think I went like 2-2 though, just because like 2 damage pulse waves are just enough to get you there sometimes. Because obviously you're maxing off the rock every time, but that would be the worst team. I didn't play against it, but I'm not going to try and call somebody out for the worst team I've ever played against.
All right. Next up, Nicholas Matthew. What strategy did you employ to spin the resource dial on that jet that first time? Apologize in advance that this was already addressed. I don't think you directly addressed how you were spinning it around and what your plans were with it.
So I would call in Rusty with Moira, would be the general play. In any matchup where I wanted Leech early, or I wanted to be able to do the double Cyclops play, where I Real Boy one and then call in one to give him Force Blast. Otherwise, I just didn't turn my dial that early. Like, it just turns when it turns. Like, it's just a 55-point taxi until the resource just happens to help.
Yeah. I noticed the strategy employed more frequently here versus what you got with the Quinjet. With the Quinjet, you build up to something big. In this case, you kind of just fill the board with things.
Yeah. There was one game, I don't remember who it was against. It was one of my first 2. I Real Boyed Wolverine, Cyclops, Jean, and the other Cyclops.
Holy smokes.
So, like, just kept firing out, extra bodies, and you can't score them. So, like, there's no risk involved, and that's what makes people keep calling this Quinjet light, and I think it's just Quinjet side grade. Like,
yeah, well, it's Quinjet in a world without Quinjet.
Right. Yeah, it's obviously not as good because it's not a free action to make the Real Boy.
Right.
But the fact that you can't score the real boys might actually balance that out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm still hesitant on that because it doesn't have that word instead in there. But
It's the same. It's the same timing as like when you would be hit versus when you are hit. This is when you would take damage.
Yeah.
So you never actually took the damage.
Yeah.
Is what
that's kind of why I wouldn't argue a judge on that one.
Fair.
All right. Next up, Brian Poland, and you kind of complimented him on the question in the first place. What are in your opinion the top 3 meta-changing pieces in HeroClix history?
So I'm just gonna go with while I played, because like I know some that were before my time, like the Firestorm that defined the game for a while. But while I played, I'm gonna go with Felix Faust. I'm going to go with the Atom, because I'm just picking a Colossal Retaliator from the first set.
Yeah.
And the Shield level 7 card, just an ID card in general. And I guess level 7 is the accurate one because it was the best one. So yeah, IDs, Retaliation, and Faust are the 3 most meta-changing factors since I've been playing, at least.
Yeah. I mean, there's been thousands of characters or not thousands, but like there's been a number of characters that just kind of define a meta game, and those are really good choices overall.
I would like to hear your input on this, actually.
My input on this. Okay. Yeah. Well, if I was to add the years, you apparently pulled one of them in Web of Spider-Man. Nightcrawler was a defining figure, but he also was preceded by and joined, if as it were, by Metron at a period of time, and that was just a weird time. It's like Metron is just so good at a really weird time. And if I was to go even deeper into history, Icon's veteran Superman, because without that figure, Hypersonic is full range.
Yeah, that's a good one. Like that's one of the ones like I know about, but I never experienced. So I can't say, I don't feel right saying it.
I was there. I was there. It was not fun. I mean, like when it came down to it, I had no choice but to be guilty of it at times. So, and I think my most guilty was like it was a 500-point tournament. I had played him and Ultimate's Thor, and somehow managed to squeak through a game against 2 of those. Maybe it was 600 points, but like I squeaked through a game against 2 veteran Icon Supermans. Like,
that's a dredge.
Yeah, that's a rule-defining figure. That's not even a meta-defining figure. Like,
right. That's the same thing with the Firestorm that I mentioned. It's like, you could be carried and make an attack, right? That's what made that ridiculous.
Fire Lord.
That's it. Okay.
Yeah, because back then flyers were still able to carry flyers. There's no rule against that, and you could take an action after a taxi. And Wasp there was no size rule, so Wasp would carry Fire Lord. And congratulations, you're dead. Good game. Let's play another one. Like people could actually play 2 or 3 games of HeroClix in those days before rounds. It was ridiculous. All right. From that little history lesson, we're in the chat. So if you're watching live in the chat, put a question in front of it. There's not much going on right now, but pretty soon I might not catch it. But B.A. McCoy, he's got a couple questions here. One of them was he was wondering, how do you come up with your builds in a new way or concept? So like when you come up with new idea builds or new concepts, how does that thought process work?
Normally, I'm just really bored at work. And I'll pick something like something I want to do. Like, I want to run across the map and charge you, or I want to sit at home and barrier, or, I'll pick a type of play and then kind of build from there. And 9 times out of 10, I scrap it and say, oh, that was terrible. What am I even thinking? And every now and again, I'll get something that actually goes into my little notebook. Like I got a work notebook that is dedicated to HeroClix that has, I don't know, probably 250 builds in it.
Oh, wow.
Like, I mean, a lot of them are probably the same. It's like, I'll be like, oh, this is a brilliant idea, and I'll start writing it down. Like, I feel like I've seen this before. Look back a few pages, and there it is. Like, but that's usually all it is work boredom and I'll sit and read through all the pieces, like commons, uncommons, because you never know. And I'll look for something, I'll look at a keyword, whatever, and just try to make something work out of it.
Yeah. Self-challenge, as it were.
Yeah.
I have something very similar where I have a couple minutes of work while I'm waiting on something to happen. And then all of a sudden, PJ gets a message on Facebook like, what do you think of this?
And I do want to say, to be fair, I get, I don't want to say hundreds, but I get a lot of messages from people throughout the week. And sometimes those will trigger an idea. Like they'll mention a piece like, hey, what do you think of this piece? And I'll be like, well, that piece isn't very good, but if you do it with like this, this, and this, it might end up working. And then I'm like, hey, it's actually not a bad idea.
Maybe we should try that. Yeah. All right. Next up, Tyler Murrin. Congrats, King of the North. And he wants to know, Dark Logos just spoke highly about the Justice League being a competitive contender in his last show. What are your thoughts on the Justice League keyword and teams?
I'm currently building with it, but I don't have a build yet because I like the new chases and I like some of them main force. Like, I like Apache Chief main force. I think he's sweet. I like 30-point Green Lantern main force, and I like the Batman also. Any of them I think are viable. They all have the Justice League keyword. I think there's plenty of good support for that keyword. So, I wish I could say more. I just haven't actually put that much thought into the build. Like, until Batman is legal, I don't really put a whole lot into it.
That's fair.
If you ask me this question in a couple weeks, like hit me up on Facebook or whatever, I might have a better answer.
Yeah. I'm liking the Atom full points on main force, but that might just be me and my crazy.
I like Atom main force. I don't think he's the best one.
No.
But he's definitely not bad.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't just scoff at it for seeing it.
Yeah, he like adds leadership, perplex, and I think he has a pulse wave himself too.
I think so. I think you got to play him at full, right? Like 50 or whatever.
Yeah, at 50 for that.
Yeah, he actually, I'm gonna pull it up, but if I remember right, he does bring quite a bit to the table for main force. He's just absolutely horrible off the sideline.
Yeah. Oh yeah. All right. Oh. Yeah.
You don't want him off the sideline.
No. Unless you're really having a hard time with shape change.
Right.
Really having a hard time with shape change. All right. B.A. Mikua has another question. He wants to know, how do you decide between initiative or theme prop when deciding on your final forms?
I don't think I get the question.
Yeah, I feel like when you're picking your theme or your theme teams, I guess in this case, would you prioritize initiative over getting prob, or do you squeeze prob in at all times? Or
if I'm gonna be named theme, I don't worry about prob.
Mm-hmm.
I always want as big of initiative as I can if I'm playing theme, just outright. Like,
yeah,
I'm doing for +10s and +7s, and like I want big themes. Like, otherwise, I'm not. I'm either +0 or I'm plus a lot. So, if I'm not named theme, I'll find a way to make prob fit. Like, if I'm going generic keyword, I will find a prob to put on that team, unless I'm playing shredders, because that just doesn't really work.
Yeah. All right. Next up, Paul Waller. He wants to know, what are the top 5 modern IDs for the Blackbird?
Wolverine, Cyclops, Professor X, Jean Grey.
All right. Tyler Murrin also mentions you play with two Zatannas, the Chase Flash and the Green Lantern.
I like Zatanna a lot.
Dude, she's welcome back, Scarlet Witch. We missed you, girl. We missed you. All right. Next up, Nolan Lake. We had the pleasure of meeting at Canadian Nationals. What a little ball of energy this young man was.
No argument there.
Oh, man. I think he built like 4 teams in a single sentence in a conversation with me. Like, whoa, I'm in the middle of a battle royale. Like, I'll catch you in a second. And then he was just gone. It was like, okay, I'll help you when I'm done with this battle royale. Where is he?
I gave him a bunch of pieces. And I didn't even know. Like I know the name because he watches the shows.
Yeah.
You know. And I gave him a bunch of pieces just because, I mean, I'm going to be real. They weren't very good. Like, my first two sealed boosters, I'm like, here, you're a kid. You should take these. And he was
Yeah. I always have that draft chaff bin, and I always just kind of want to find somebody to just be like, here you go. And then it never happens. They're all gone. By the time it's like, nobody wants my draft chaff. But he actually has two questions here. What pieces would you use to make a semi-viable Batroc Zaliper Alpha Strike team?
You definitely want Overdrive.
Yeah.
Because you need a lot of movement, and you need the Empower.
Yeah, I was going to say the Empower goes a long way with him.
Yeah. You'll want Prob, because you never want to miss.
Yeah.
You can just play it so flexibly. Like, I don't know how many Batrocs you're wanting to play. Like, if you just say you go with 2, like, you have a ton of points to do other stuff with, like a bunch of Colossal Retaliation. So you move all the way over, do everything you can, and then when they start killing your pieces, you're jumping Surters and Groots over in their face.
I missed the Atom for that reason, by the way.
I miss the Atom a lot.
For Empower and Retaliation?
Yeah, and his Retaliation that got through almost everything.
Yep. All the powers I had problems with.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. And the second question is it okay to rely on Theme Team for Prob in a competitive tournament, or is it not enough to last through the game? Well, I think you got the answer for that for Mr. First Place with just Theme Probs.
Yep. I just won a national title relying on Theme Probs, so there is your... But also, to be fair, I'm also relying on, like, 14 attack. So...
Yeah. That goes a long way.
Yeah. Short answer, yes, you can rely on Theme Probs. Now, don't play, like, 2. Like... It has to be you go with your 5, and that should be enough to last you for an entire match.
All right. Now, I always like to go off on these last two questions, especially when it comes to Canadian nationals. One, do you trust Canadian geese anymore?
No. I never did, never will.
And have you, to follow up that one, that this is not the actual second question, but have you met one in person recently?
No, not since I won. Go to the park and just like, hey, and see if they know.
If it starts charging, they know.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, maybe it'll bow to me as their king. Maybe it'll attack me and, they
don't respect the royal blood. They'll try to get it. But the actual second question, I like to ask this question of all the champs. While you were going through the tournament and observing, were there any teams that caught your eye that you wish you would have had a chance to play against, or any teams that you looked at and went, there's something there that maybe could go another way?
I really wanted to play against your build. Like,
I swear. Okay, I just want to say, I'm not baiting this answer, folks. This happens all the time.
I'm trying to think. Like, I was so, like, hyper-focused that I didn't really pay that much attention to what was being played. And I only played against, the same normal stuff. Like, obviously, I liked Tom's build a lot. I'm glad I got to play against it. I love Mister's Death. I can't say that I saw – I mean, I know there were teams that were innovative and clever. I just didn't get to play against them, and I didn't see them enough to actually get any type of focus out of it.
Sure. If I wouldn't have attacked with my Goblin King, it might have been against me instead of Emily playing against Scott. Who knows? It was the worst move I made, and I look back, like, immediately after I started doing team math, I was like, oh, no, I screwed up. And like, I could have won that game with just Dr. Frankenstein's left.
Get it, Frank.
It's just like, because the amount of time I had left, and I just looked at it like, I could have just done it. I could have just been like, Goblin Kings and Franks and just stay. We're good.
Just double perplex defense and hope.
Just hold out. Just hold out. Anyway, that's hindsight for you, right?
Yeah.
I am looking forward to trying that team again, this time with a sideline.
of some Justice League sideline, helping their monster buddies.
Some friends of the super variety. That said, PJ, it's been a pleasure having you. Congratulations on your Canadian National Championship. Are you planning on being out there at Worlds this year, December 3rd, I believe is the weekend?
Yes, absolutely. I've already booked my flight and my hotel.
Awesome. I think we're driving down with friends from Ottawa. We're getting an Airbnb while we're down there and carpooling our way down there, and we're super excited for it now because that's going to be a time where I have breathing room again. I was so nervous the whole time. I was like, did I leave anything behind at work? Are they going to be angry at me if I was gone this weekend? I don't know. It's gonna be we're very, very heavy state at work. Anyway, that said, once again, thank you very much, PJ, for joining us. It's been a pleasure talking to you. Wish you very well in future tournaments, just not the ones I'm in.
Fair.
And I want to thank everybody who's watching, either live or on the archives, for joining us during this year's Canadian National Championship. And we hope to see you guys in other episodes of our shows. And like we said, the link is now down below. We have a submission process for questions for our Move and Attack show, which we're going to give it another try, another go. We have 1 or 2 WKOs coming up. I might be able to throw some stuff in regards to those. So we'll see what's up with that. Anyway, have a good one, guys, and good night, and have a good weekend.
Bye.